Bears, welcome to my channel. My name is Kayla June Kale Barb on social media. So, happy Mental Health Monday. This video and probably next week is going to be very personal, depending on which one you see first. This one's going to be about, well, as you know, I'm not even going to go into like subscribe, follow, like, whatever, because this type of stuff that I've been wanting to talk about is more personal, so I don't really, if you want to subscribe, please do. I always enjoy having more bears in my family, but I'm just going to get started. So if you've been following me or subscribed to me for a very long time, you know that I am a mental health advocate. I have a mental health Instagram at bear_selfcare. If you ever want to follow that for, like, you know, mental health purposes, if you ever want to DM me and chat, you can. Please feel free. It is a safe place. Anyone who puts negativity up there gets blocked, so no one gets bullied. I have very strict rules on that Instagram. But anyway, if you have been following me for a while, you know that I have major anxiety, severe depression, PMDD, social anxiety disorder, and recently, obviously in the last year or so, you guys, if you guys are not new, you know that I'm also married. With that being said, I think I've done a video on relationships and depression, social anxiety, and I never really got into, I don't really talk about my personal life, whereas like my marriage, I don't talk about Vincent a lot, because I like to keep some of my things personal, and my marriage is something that I very much treasure. Sometimes he'll come on my social medias. I don't really post about him that much because I just see from other social media accounts that, you know, people are a little bit crazy when it comes to like spouses and like kids and family and personal life, so I kind of not put that stuff up there. I save that for like my personal account and it's private. But again, as you know, I'm like fiddling with my scrunchie because I like these next two videos are very extreme, very personal. But if you are someone who's in a relationship with someone, or you're married or engaged and you have anxiety and you have depression and you don't know how to handle things a lot of the time, this may be a video for you, because I am still very much learning on how to be in a successful relationship with someone that is my best friend and someone that I care about when I have things like PMDD, which is very like it can be extremely traumatizing, and my depression is extremely traumatizing, and it's not like it comes and goes for me. It's every day. I'm trying to get comfortable because my feet are crossed. Do you hear that? Oh my god. Okay, so that's what this video is going to be about. I don't know if it's going to be a long one. I'm going to try not for it not to be, but for these videos I don't really care. But I'm just going to get on into it. So I've been with Vincent since 2013. We used to work together. I have a story video somewhere of how like we met, if you're interested in that. Has a lot of detail. It's a very long video, I think. Also, I'm talking very monotone because I'm like super nervous. But lately, as you may know, I'm like here and I'm not there, and a lot of the time has to do with my mental health. Other times it's because I'm busy with like school or work. Freya. But to get more into it, I've been with him since 2013 in November, so it'll be 7 years this November, which is a very long time. I've never been with someone for so long, and we've been together consistently, like never broken up, nothing, which is something that's very new for me as well. My past is very dark when it comes to relationships with friends, family, boys. I say boys because they're boys. Very abusive relationships. Very abusive. I've come from very abusive relationships. From different, like, family, very emotional and very physically abusive. I've come from like relationships with boys who are mentally, emotionally, physically, sexually abusive. And I actually met someone who is none of those, who never has done any of those things. So in my last relationship, which was many years ago, I remember he knew very well that I had major anxiety and depression issues, but he was the type of person that never really wanted to acknowledge it. He was the type of person that didn't want to fight, or he would want to fight, like fight. That's where like the physical abuse came to play, and then mentally it was like I could never be with someone else other than him, because I was too nuts or crazy. And I always say to myself, like, my biggest enemy is my head, because it just doesn't stop. It doesn't know how to relax, and it doesn't know how to settle. And I'm like having a hard time looking at the camera, because I like know I'm talking to you guys, and this is very difficult for me. I always said I would never talk about the next few things, like the next few videos that I'd be talking about, unless I had to. But I've been seeing a lot of things, and people have been reaching out to me about abusive relationships. Is this mentally abusive? Is this, you know, emotionally abusive? Is that even a thing? Yes, it's all a thing. Someone shouldn't want to make you cry if they love you. You know what I mean? Like, a person who loves you should want to comfort you. And if they did something wrong, they should be sorry. Not just, oh, I'm sorry. Like, genuinely sorry, you know? Vincent always taught me that sorry means nothing. Saying it means nothing. You have to prove that you're sorry, you know? And being with him has shown me a lot. He's 7 years older than me. He's a lot wiser in some ways. And he has taught me to be stronger. I used to be very, very bad when it came to my anxiety. Eventually, it kind of just, like, it was like an off switch. I just shut everything off, which means I had no relationship with other people. I didn't really want to talk to other people. And I mean, like, I know that sounds like, well, that still sounds like anxiety. No, I mean, like, I completely shut everything and everyone down, that I didn't know what else to do. I just became so numb. And then I met Vincent, and then it was just like, I don't want another relationship. I don't want to get married. I don't want kids. I don't want commitment. I hate commitment. I still think commitment is, like, scary. Being married, and I think commitment's scary. It's the truth. But this last, like, few weeks, month, I would say, has been brutal for me, because I have been having really bad thoughts, like whether or not Vincent even loves me anymore. You know, you're so crazy, Kayla, how could anyone love you? And I'm saying, like, this isn't, like, things that he's saying or whatever. It's stuff that's, like, I'm thinking, I don't know how to put in words, things that I'm thinking of. So, like, how am I going to be ever be good enough? Like, I don't work enough. I don't put enough on the table. I don't make enough money to support both of us, when, you know, I should be helping out a lot more. There are times where I just completely shut down. I don't want to be touched. I don't want to be hugged. I don't want my hand held. I don't even want to be looked at. Like, it gets bad. And I know some of you are probably going to watch this and be like, wow, you are crazy. And maybe you will. I don't know. And that's your prerogative. That's perfectly fine. Everyone has a right to their own opinion. But anyway, being married to someone is, for me, is very, very scary at times, because there are times in my relationship with Vincent where all I feel is love, you know, like this overwhelming tsunami of love, like this big freaking storm of just, I am so safe. But then the other part of my brain is just like, are you sure? Like, are you sure? You shouldn't feel that safe, you know? Like it's a too good to be true type of thing. And it's very hurtful for me to think, like, my best friend's gonna break my heart one day. What if he doesn't? What if one day he wakes up and he doesn't love me? What if one day he wakes up and he's just like, God, this girl's nuts, I gotta run, you know? And it's terrifying, because everyone's just like, oh my God, like, you two look so happy, like, you guys are so in love. And we are very much in love. Do we get along all the time? No, we do not, fellows and ladies and gents and bears. We do not get along every second of the day. more so me, because I am very temperamental. I'm oddly temperamental. He's very temperamental too, but he's more the type of person that will keep it to himself and be like, you know what? I need space, she needs space, let this cool off and we'll chat. Me, I'm just like a freaking cannon, and I just talk and I just say things that I shouldn't say, like, that he does. Like, I've told him, like, I know you don't love me. And it hurts him. And then I hate myself for it. And I don't know if that's, like, I know that's not normal. And I hate when I hurt him with my words. Because it's not just like I'm saying you don't do enough and you don't, you know, you're not nice enough, you're not cuddly enough. Like, I'm telling him how he feels when it's not how he feels. Like, he is, honest to God, the most understanding, supportive person I've ever met in my life. And I would have never changed my career path if it wasn't for him, because he told me I need to follow my heart and I need to be happy. My happiness was a priority, and it is a priority for him and for us, because I feel like me depressed consistently is such a drag on our relationship, and it's still something I'm struggling with, and it's still something that I'm trying to grow from on how to handle it, and just reminding myself every day that I've come from such bad relationships and such abusive relationships that all I am worthy of is an abusive relationship. And my first boyfriend, years ago, like over 10 years ago, was very abusive. He was very mentally abusive, probably worse than the second one, who was physically abusive. Because my first relationship, he was very sexually abusive, or he was sexually abusive towards me. And God, that is so difficult to say on camera. I'm like gonna rip this apart because I just can't believe I just said it on camera. And I still relive those things. I still relive those moments, you know? And it sucks, because there are days where I am so good and so happy and so content and so satisfied with my life and my marriage and my relationship with him and everything, and then it just turns to mush the second I feel like, no, you can't be happy. No, this isn't gonna last forever. It's not possible. Did you forget that? Like, that's the little negative Nancy voice in my head that says, I'm not worthy to have happily ever after forever. And I see Vincent fighting so hard to beat the crap out of that little voice in my head. And it's tiring for him. I'm talking from the perspective of being the depressed person. He is so strong mentally that it's ridiculous. I've never seen someone so mentally strong in my life. And it's something that I really admire about him. And I honestly don't know what I'd do if I didn't have someone so strong, because when I'm down here and he's up here, he will go down in the depths of HE double hockey sticks and pull me back up as hard as he can to make sure that I'm okay. And there are times where we fight, there are times where we don't talk to each other. Like, we have problems sometimes. Everyone does. I mean, life isn't supposed to be perfect. I think that's just something that people expect. Like, I do a perfect marriage, and it's not possible. But the most important thing is that you guys talk it out and get through it. And I just really wish that, and I really hope and pray that one day I wake up and it's just, you know what? Negative Nancy in there. I am worthy of happily ever after forever with this guy. Whether you keep telling me and reminding me I'm not, I am good enough. Because I want to feel that, you know? And it's tough. Because when you live a life for so long with constant people, your mom, your dad, your friends, boyfriends, significant others, whatever, telling you that you are too crazy and picking out your flaws and picking out your negatives, that you don't do this and you need to do this more enough, and you need to do this more and you don't do this enough, and you need to pick up your slack, and your depression, your anxiety isn't real, all you ever do is complain, all you ever do is cry, oh, you're so angry, you're so this, you're so that, and all these negatives. One day it's gonna really, really knock you down so far that you feel like you can't get up. And that's how I feel most of the time, and I try not to show it, but lately it just really, really exploded inside of me. And anyone who's watching this who is in a relationship, who is married and has that struggle of picking yourself back up, if you have a partner who can at least lend a hand, because I know people are just like, you gotta do it yourself, it's not gonna work unless you do it yourself. If you want to help yourself, that's the start. That's the difference. If you genuinely want to help yourself, like I want to help myself, it's just I need the push. I need someone to push me to do it, because I'm too terrified. Because I'm too terrified that my depression's gonna win, and then bad things will happen. And the last thing I'm going to say before I end this video is, don't be like me and let your past define you, because that's all I've ever done for so many years, is everything I've been through, I let it define who I am. And that's not the case. It's not my fault that I had 2 really bad relationships, both abusive. An abusive father, abusive mother. It's not my fault that I was brought into the world with abusive parents. It's not my fault that, yes, I chose to be with them, but this was before the abusive signs. And then when the abuse happened, that was it. Things obviously happened, after, as in, with my own self, but I no longer spoke to them, saw them, nothing. And it's just something I wish people just give yourself some credit. If you got out of bed this morning, pat yourself on the back. If you brush your teeth, pat yourself on the back. If you made your coffee, pat yourself on the back. If you woke up and you're breathing, smile and say thank you. Because even though there are many of us who have mental health things going on in our lives, it's important to acknowledge the good that we have. And if you have a good spouse, and if you guys are fighting and you're watching this, seriously sit there and make a pros and cons list. It helps. I've done it. He's downstairs. There's more pros in your relationship than cons. Acknowledge the good that that person has done to help you with your anxiety, depression, social anxiety, whatever it is that you are going through. And if there's more cons, acknowledge it, confront it, and or leave. Because no one deserves to feel any type of abuse. Whether it's emotional, physical, sexual, mental, anything. Financial abuse, that's literally a thing. When someone holds money over your head, that is called abuse. If they are the primary bread giver and they make it seem like you don't do enough and they make the rules because they bring the money home, that is abuse. That falls into the category of financial, emotional, and mental. Acknowledge it. And maybe one day I'll talk more about it, because apparently no one wants to acknowledge it. And I see so many of my friends and family who go through it and they just think it's, well, he does make the money. No, that's not how this works. Vincent makes the most, 99% of the money in this house. I don't work every day like he does, and never has he once taken away something from me because of that. He's never said, oh, no, we're not doing that. I don't care if that makes you happy. I don't care if you want to do that. We're not doing that. And these are the rules that you are going to follow because we live under my roof. If we're going to get technical, I make the rules. I bring the food home. I bring the money home, whatever the frick people say these days. He's never said that. And you need to acknowledge it, because being married is a really, really strong commitment. It's supposed to be. It's a bond between two people. And it's not supposed to be taken lightly, especially if you have any type of mental illness, because you need to have a strong bond. If you are someone with anxiety or depression or anything along the lines, your partner needs to understand what you are going through, and you need to communicate with them as well. Otherwise, nothing's ever going to get fixed. And this video turned 20 minutes long. Holy moly. But I'm going to go because this is long. I probably just rambled. But I hope you have a great night or day wherever you are. I hope this video helped. Let me know if it did help you. Let me know how you're doing in your relationships if you're in one. If you ever want to talk, DM me at bear_selfcare. We can chat, you can vent, you can cry. Everything is confidential. Everything stays between us. Everything stays with me. When I die, your secrets, your venting, everything. Knock on wood, it's not anytime soon. Oh God. I always say God forbid after things. God forbid, like, crazy accidents in this world. Everything stays with me and solely me. But I love you. You're never alone. And I hope you'll watch my next video. Bye, bears.